Hey guys, welcome to NitroRCX.com. Today I'm very excited to show you a chassis that we've been waiting for a pretty long time. It's called the X10 chassis from a brand called Team Energy. Beautiful chassis made. They're 110 scale touring cars and they're made for pretty much indoor racing or paved racing, outdoor racing. But that doesn't mean you can't take them out and put a monster motor in them and bash around with your friends. They made two chassis, a drift car and a touring car. They are ready to run out the box, and they do come packaged with our brand new Dimension GT3X radio. Awesome radio, tons of features, 2.4 gigahertz, lots of programming, especially dual rate and exponential, which you're gonna want if you're gonna be doing some racing. So out the box, they are ready to run. You have the drift car or the touring car. These are the body shells, beautiful looking body shells, kind of have a JGTC style about them. But the decals don't come on them. You do want to stick them on. It does come raw out the box, and you can kind of put on the decals how you like. Let's take a look at what you get out of the box. Of course, you get the car, the chassis, the radio. You will need 4 AA batteries for the radio. It does come with a lithium polymer battery. Doesn't have a charger. Pick up an awesome charger on NitroRCX.com. What else comes in the package? Antenna pipe. Definitely want to put that on there. A bind plug. For your receiver, basically the Dimension, it uses an AF-HDS receiver system. If you guys are familiar with FlySky, they also run on the AF-HDS receiver system. So if you have FlySky receivers, you can use that as well. It does bind. You have some extra body post platforms. You do have a user manual for your ESC. It's fully programmable. Remember, guys, these are brushless systems, so they are brushless, sensorless motors, and you can program that ESC for drag brake force, running mode, low voltage cutoff. If you're going to be using nickels or lipos, definitely want to mess with the low voltage cutoff, start mode, your punch mode, and braking force. Read through the user manual. For your brushless ESC, you also have a brushless motor wiring diagram. If you've never wired a brushless motor before, or if you're swapping out your brushless motor, definitely read through that. Lithium polymer batteries. If it's your first lithium polymer battery, you definitely want to read through this. Lithium polymer batteries, you do want to take care of them. You don't want to puncture them and catch anything on fire. Just put that on the ground here. GT3X manual shows you how to program it. It's even got mixing in that GT3X manual. So if you have a crawler or anything, you want to do 4-wheel steering, this shows you how to do it. Very well written manual. Definitely want to read through that if you want to do some programming. And you have the Team Energy manual. This manual is pretty detailed. It tells you complete teardown of the car in color. Tells you how to mesh the gears, your gear ratio and all that stuff. It's all in color, and it shows you a bunch of hop-up parts for the car itself. Awesome manual. I love what Team Energy did with that. You can even write down your, it's fully adjustable chassis, so you can write down your tune settings, your chassis adjustments, and refer to that if you're at the racetrack. So let's get to the cars themselves, what we've been waiting for. The X10TC, the touring car, is the black one on my left, and the drift car is the red one on the right. There are some differences in the chassis themselves, how they're equipped for the specific purpose they're made for. For example, the drift car, that's going to come with different tires, some different suspension changes, and the touring car, of course, you're going to get grip tires and different suspension changes. So let's take off the cover on the touring car and show you guys that beautiful X10 chassis. Once you take off the cover, you're greeted with a bunch of anodized orange aluminum parts. T6 aluminum looks beautiful. The biggest aluminum part is that 3300 kV brushless motor. You're looking at a 50 amp Team Energy brushless ESC that is fully programmable that we mentioned just now. You're looking at that Dimension AF-HDS receiver right here. Your servo is mounted here. Standard size servo. If you do want to upgrade the servo to something quicker, you can do that. It's very easy to do. 2 bolts on the bottom. The chassis is carbon top plate on top, carbon top plate on the bottom, and man, the chassis is light. I haven't driven this yet, and I'm pretty excited to drive it. Notice it's belt driven. Front and rear diffs, 2 belts for efficiency. It runs real clean, real smooth, real quiet. Your shocks are threaded. They are coilovers. They have aluminum caps and aluminum threads, so you can adjust them on the fly for preload. They are oil filled, and you can change out the pistons for different types of dampening. Now this is the touring car. What's the difference between the drift car? Notice that this does have adjustable sway bars, front and rear. You can adjust the stiffness of the sway bars, front and rear. You have a spooled diff up front. Notice when I turn the wheel, the other wheel is moving as well. Spooled diff up front. You have a ball diff on the back that is adjustable. And you have adjustable ride height, adjustable droop screws, fully tunable suspension for that racing, for your racing. And you can really dial in this chassis for high speed or for cornering or for whatever you're going to do with it. Grip tires, as mentioned before, on 12mm hexed wheels, so it is the standard for 1/10 scale. You can use all different types of wheels out there. Now you guys are probably wondering, what's the width on this chassis? It's actually a 190mm. So if you're going to go out there and get some 190mm bodies for this, it's going to be easy to find. If you get thicker wheels or wheel spacers, you can even use the 200mm bodies. Now, as mentioned before, it does come with a 2-cell 3900mm. It does come with a 2-cell 3900 milliamp hour lithium polymer battery at 25C. If you need a charger for this, definitely head on over to Nitro RCX. Check out our AC 680 charger. That'll charge this thing right up in no time. Some more close-up shots of the chassis. You'll notice the battery mount is slim and compact. It does hold it very well. Uses Velcro straps to keep the weight down. And that chassis is beautiful. So lightweight. Everything is pretty much waterproof on this chassis. I don't recommend driving through water because it is full ball bearing throughout, but if you're going to be driving in rain, you might want to protect that receiver. The receiver is not waterproof. Everything else is silicone embedded, and it is splash proof. This chassis is, again, fully adjustable. Notice the mounts on the back for the sway bar. Those are also adjustable. You can adjust your sway bar stiffness. Now, if you want it stiffer or tighter, to tune your cornering ability, that is also adjustable here. Fully adjustable, I mean, there's so much adjustments on this car, it almost gets a little confusing. But if you do know how to adjust it or play with it, write it down so you don't forget your settings. You can really get these cars dialed in for racing. So that pretty much covers the touring car. I know I said a lot, but let's take a look at the drift car and check out the differences. So I'm going to set this one aside. I'm going to remove the top off of the drift car. And at first glance, you're going to be like, well, it pretty much looks the same. But the differences with it are you have drift tires on the drift car. Basically, you're going to get hard PVC type tires. Kind of got a stretched look to them, which is pretty cool. You're getting the same gear ratio. I think that's a 87 or a 78 tooth spur on the back. Ball diff in the rear that's fully tunable. You don't have these sway bars on the drift car. Although you can add them if you want to. Sway bars don't come with the drift car, and you have a one-way diff. Notice that front diff is completely different. On power, you're getting four-wheel drive, but on braking, notice the front wheels are rolling, my back wheels are stopped. On braking, you're kind of getting kind of a rear-wheel drive, rear braking effect. That's going to swing the tail around. It's going to make it tail happy and perfect for drifting. As far as those differences, everything else is pretty much the same. You get that awesome 3300 kV brushless motor. You got that 50 amp ESC, the same dimension GT3X radio system, and that same battery. Keep in mind, guys, anything you want on the touring car, you can swap to the drift car, vice versa. If you don't like that one-way diff, you can put the spool up front, or you can even throw a ball diff on there and just have it open diff front and rear. It all depends on your driving style. Team Energy really thought these chassis well and throughout. If you want to tune them to your specific driving style, you can do that with parts or with the chassis that they've provided. So that pretty much covers the differences between the X10 drift car and the X10 touring car. Again, there's a bunch of hop-up parts you can check out online, more detailed specs and pictures. Hop on to Nitro RCX to check that out. I didn't go over too much of the GT3X radio. Guys, this is an awesome radio. We just got this in to Nitro RCX. If you want more specs on the radio, all the functions, we do have a full video on that. Check out the link below. But that is the Dimension GT3X radio. That is packaged with the Team Energy X10 chassis cars. Stay tuned for the video of us running it. That's it for a quick look at these new chassis. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you later.